My wife announced marriage didn't make me her top priority while I was stirring her favorite pasta sauce. I nearly dropped the wooden spoon into the marinara, but years of corporate survival instincts kicked in. I kept my face neutral, nodded, and thought about how much I'd enjoy sleeping on clean sheets she hadn't picked out. Alex, are you even listening? Serena stood in our kitchen doorway, backlit by the setting sun like some kind of martyr in a Renaissance painting. She wore her power suit, the navy one that cost more than my first car, and her expression suggested I'd just failed a test I didn't know I was taking. I heard you, I said, turning back to the stove. Marriage doesn't make me your top priority. You have other important things. Exactly. She sounded relieved, like I'd finally understood quantum physics after years of patient explanation. I knew you'd get it. You're so reasonable, Alex. That's why this works. What works, I thought, ladling sauce over pasta I suddenly didn't want to eat. What exactly works about this? So, what is your top priority? I asked, keeping my voice light. Just so I know where I rank. Somewhere between hot yoga and your car's maintenance schedule? She laughed, that tinkling sound she used at networking events. Don't be dramatic. I just need you to understand that I'm building something here. My career matters. Derek says I have real potential to make VP by next year. Derek. Of course. Derek Yates, her boss, who drove a vintage BMW he probably waxed with orphan tears and wore suits that cost more than our mortgage payment. Derek, who always seemed to need Serena for late meetings and weekend strategy sessions. Derek says a lot of things, I replied, plating our dinner with more care than it deserved. What's that supposed to mean? Nothing, just that Derek's opinion seems to matter a lot lately. Serena grabbed her plate with the enthusiasm of someone accepting a parking ticket. You know what? I'm not hungry. I have a conference call in 20 minutes anyway. She disappeared upstairs, leaving me alone with 2 plates of pasta and the growing realization that I'd been cast as a supporting character in my own marriage. I'm Alex Forrester, 38 years old, lead developer at a mid-sized tech company that makes software nobody understands but everyone needs. I've spent 15 years writing code that keeps financial systems running, which means I'm very good at finding patterns, spotting bugs, and fixing problems before they crash the whole system. I was looking at a major problem, and it was about to crash. The next morning I stopped by Ray's desk before the daily stand-up. Ray Martinez was my work friend, the kind of guy who could smell bullshit from 3 cubicles away and had a gift for saying exactly what everyone else was thinking. You look like someone ruined your day and made you relive it, Ray said, not looking up from his monitor. Serena says I'm not her top priority. Now he looked up. She said that? Out loud? With words? Direct quote. Ray whistled low. Man, that's cold. What did you do? Made her dinner. Of course you did. You're like a golden retriever in human form, no offense. Some taken. So what are you going to do about it? I thought about that. What was I going to do? Roll over? Keep playing the dutiful husband while Serena climbed her corporate ladder with Derek holding it steady? I'm going to stop making her my top priority, I said. Ray grinned. Now we're talking. What's first? Well, I was going to skip tonight's dinner with her mother. Judith? The Ice Queen herself? Oh man, that's nuclear. I have work to do. Important work. Priorities, you know. You beautiful bastard. That evening, I stayed late at the office. Not because I had to, but because I wanted to. I accepted happy hour invitations I'd been declining for months. I laughed at jokes. I talked about projects that excited me. I remembered what it felt like to be interesting. When I got home at 9:30, Serena was waiting. Where were you? My mother waited an hour. Sorry, I said. Not sorry at all. Work thing. It was important. More important than family? I looked at her. Really looked at her. When had she started wearing that much makeup at home? When had her smile become something she put on like jewelry? You tell me, I said. What's more important than family? She blinked. That's different. How? Because I told you about tonight weeks ago. And I told you about my career weeks ago. Years ago, actually. But I guess we both have priorities now. I walked past her, grabbed a beer from the fridge, and went to my home office. Through the door, I heard her making angry phone calls to her friends. I caught fragments. Can you believe? And so selfish. And maybe Maya was right about him. I opened my laptop and made a few changes. Life insurance beneficiary. Updated. Emergency contacts. Revised. Shared credit cards. Spending alerts activated. If I was going to stop being her top priority, I might as well stop making her mine in all the ways that actually mattered. The backyard barbecue at Maya's house the following Saturday should have been pleasant. Maya Chen was Serena's oldest friend, a real estate agent with a talent for gossip and a wine habit that started at noon. Her husband, Brad, grilled meat with the focused intensity of a man who'd given up on conversation years ago. I stood near the fence, nursing a beer, when I heard them. Serena, Maya, and Chloe huddled near the pool house, voices carrying over the sound of children screaming in the pool. I'm just saying, Derek knows how to make a woman feel special, Serena said. Alex is so predictable, boring even. My hand tightened on the beer bottle. In bed? Chloe asked, her voice dropping to a stage whisper that carried perfectly across the yard. Everywhere. Derek's a real man. He takes charge. Alex just exists. Maya laughed. Girl, you are bad, but I get it. Derek's hot. That car alone? It's not about the car, Serena said, but she was laughing too. Okay, it's a little about the car. I set down my beer and walked over to Brad. Great burgers, man. I'm gonna head out early. Work stuff. Brad nodded, flipping a patty with the precision of a surgeon. Smart, these things go on forever. In the car, I sat for a moment, engine running, hands on the wheel. Derek. Of course it was Derek. The late meetings, the weekend conferences, the sudden interest in business travel. I wasn't angry, not yet. I was calculating. On Monday morning, I had a meeting with our VP of Engineering, Janet Kowalski. She was brilliant, intimidating, and had a reputation for recognizing talent with the precision of a predator tracking its prey. Alex, your work on the financial integration project was exceptional, she said, closing her laptop to give me her full attention, a rare honor. I'm putting together a team for a new initiative. It's high profile, high stakes, and it needs someone who can see the whole picture. Interested? Very. Good. It comes with a promotion. Lead architect. 20% raise. Your own team. But it's going to be demanding. Lots of travel, client meetings, presentations. Think you can handle it? I thought about Serena, about Derek, about being someone's non-priority. I can handle it. Janet smiled. I thought you might say that. Welcome to the big leagues. That night, I told Serena about the promotion over takeout Thai food, her choice, though I'd stopped caring what we ate. That's great, she said, scrolling through her phone. More money is always good. There'll be travel, late nights, weekend work sometimes. She wasn't listening. I might need to miss some of your work events. Now she looked up. What events? Whatever comes up. I'm sure Derek can escort you if you need someone. Her eyes narrowed. What's that supposed to mean? Nothing. Just that you have priorities and now I have mine. Alex, are you being passive-aggressive? I smiled. I'm being actively realistic. You wanted independence. Consider this my contribution. She stared at me for a long moment, then went back to her phone. Fine, do whatever you want. I will. And I meant it. Part 2. Affairs and Airings. The iPad sat on the kitchen counter, innocently charging, when I came downstairs for coffee. Serena had already left for her morning Pilates class, the one that somehow required full makeup and her best athleisure wear. The iPad was synced to her phone, something she'd set up years ago and apparently forgotten about. I wasn't snooping, not really. I was just checking the weather when the message notification popped up. Derek. Can't wait for this weekend. Bring that red thing I like. My coffee went cold in my hand. I opened the messages. I shouldn't have. I knew I shouldn't have. But my fingers moved anyway, scrolling back through weeks of conversations that painted a picture so clear a child could have understood it. Serena. Alex is working late again. We have the house until midnight. Derek. Perfect. I'll bring champagne. And other things. Serena. You're terrible. I love it. There were photos, not explicit, but suggestive enough. Derek's car, a hotel room. Serena in lingerie I'd never seen. Time stamps that corresponded with her girls' nights and work conferences. I took screenshots. Lots of screenshots. Then I backed up the conversation to my secure cloud storage, encrypted with a password only I knew. Years of handling sensitive data had taught me to always keep backups. Then I finished my coffee, cold as it was, and went to work. You're smiling, Ray said when I arrived. That's either really good or really bad. I found something interesting. Yeah? Evidence. Lots of evidence. Ray's eyes widened. Of the thing we don't talk about at work? That thing. Damn! What are you going to do? I'm going to think about it, carefully. Then I'm going to do something memorable. I love it when you go dark side. The opportunity came faster than I expected. Serena's friend group was having dinner at Lucia's, an upscale Italian place downtown. Serena had invited me weeks ago, back when she still pretended to care about appearances. I'd said yes, then forgotten about it until the morning of. You're still coming tonight, right? Serena asked over breakfast, her tone suggesting she hoped I'd say no. Wouldn't miss it. She looked suspicious. Really? Really? I want to see your friends. It's been too long. That evening, I arrived early, got a good seat at the table, and ordered wine. Maya arrived next, then Chloe, then Priya, the social climber who worked in marketing and treated every conversation like a networking opportunity. Serena arrived last, with Derek. Hope you don't mind, she said breezily. Derek was nearby, so I told him to join us. Derek shook my hand with the grip of someone who'd read an article about power moves. Alex, good to see you, man. Serena talks about you all the time. I bet she does, I said, smiling. All good things, I hope. Of course. We ordered. We ate appetizers. We made small talk about nothing, the kind of conversation that fills time without meaning anything. Then Chloe, 3 glasses of wine in, made a mistake. Serena, how was that conference last month? The one in Miami? Serena's face froze for just a second. It was fine. Productive. That's not what you told me, Chloe said, giggling. You said it was the best weekend of your life. Chloe. Oh, right. Chloe's eyes went wide. I mean, because of the professional development. I set down my fork. What conference was this? I don't remember you mentioning Miami. It was last minute, Serena said quickly. Industry thing? Funny, I said. I checked your company's website. No conferences in Miami last month. But there was one in Cleveland. Did you mean Cleveland? The table went quiet. Alex, Serena said, her voice tight. Can we not do this here? Do what? I'm just asking about your trip. Derek, you were at that conference too, right? The Miami one that didn't exist? Derek's jaw tightened. I think you've had too much wine, buddy. I've had 1 glass, but you know what's interesting? I've had a lot of time to think lately, about priorities, about honesty, about what people do when they think nobody's watching. Maya leaned forward. Alex, what are you talking about? I pulled out my phone, opened the screenshots, and slid it across the table to Maya. Just some messages I found. Interesting reading. Maya's eyes went wide. She scrolled, her mouth opening. Serena, oh my God. Give me that. Serena lunged for the phone, but Maya pulled it back. You said you were at a conference. You said... Maya kept scrolling, her face going from shocked to angry. You talked about me. You called me desperate. You said my house was tacky. Maya, I didn't mean... And Chloe. You said Chloe was clingy, that she only had friends because people felt sorry for her. Chloe grabbed the phone. Her face crumpled as she read. These are private messages, Serena said, standing up. You had no right... Private? I laughed. You synced your phone to our shared iPad. You made them available. I just happened to find them. Derek stood too. This is inappropriate. Serena, let's go. Sit down, Derek, I said. We're not done. See, here's what's interesting. You two have been very careful. Hotel rooms paid in cash, separate cars to the same locations. But you weren't careful enough. There are photos, timestamps, credit card receipts for champagne and roses that I definitely didn't receive. You're crazy, Derek said. I'm thorough. There's a difference. Priya, who'd been silent until now, spoke up. So this is real? They're actually having an affair? Yes, for at least 6 months based on the message history, though I suspect longer. Serena's face was white. You're going to regret this. Probably, but not tonight. I stood, dropped cash on the table for my portion of the bill, and walked out. Behind me, I heard voices rising, accusations, denials, the sound of friendships cracking like ice. It felt good. The next morning, I woke to 17 missed calls and 43 text messages. Most were from Serena. Some were from her friends. One was from Derek, threatening legal action for invasion of privacy. I forwarded Derek's message to my lawyer with a note. Is this actionable? She responded within an hour. No, he's an idiot. Keep records of everything. I went to work. I did my job. I had lunch with Janet to discuss the new project. I was professional, competent, and completely focused. At 3 p.m., my phone buzzed. Ray, dude, you're trending on the company Slack. What did you do? I checked. Someone, probably someone at dinner last night, had shared the story. It had spread through Serena's PR firm, jumped to Derek's company, and metastasized across our interconnected professional networks. The details were vague, but the conclusion was clear. Serena and Derek had been caught. By 5 p.m., Derek's assistant called to reschedule 3 client meetings. By 6 p.m., Serena's company's HR department had called her in for a meeting. By 7 p.m., when I got home, Serena was waiting with her mother. Judith Chen was exactly what you'd expect from someone who'd raised Serena. Polished, cold, and utterly convinced of her own righteousness. She stood in my living room like she owned it, arms crossed, expression glacial. Alex, we need to talk about your behavior. Hello, Judith. Lovely to see you too. Can I get you something to drink? Water? Wine? A reality check? Don't be glib. You humiliated my daughter in public. I told the truth in public. There's a difference. You invaded her privacy. She synced her phone to our shared device. That's like leaving your diary open on the kitchen table and being mad someone read it. Serena, sitting on the couch with red-rimmed eyes, spoke up. I made a mistake. I admit that. But you didn't have to destroy me. Destroy you? I showed your friend some text messages. You destroyed yourself by writing them. Derek and I, it just happened. We didn't mean for it to go this far. How far did you mean for it to go? Just kissing? Just hotel rooms? Just lying to me for 6 months? It's not that simple. It's exactly that simple. You made a choice. Multiple choices. Now you're dealing with consequences. Judith stepped forward. My daughter deserves respect. Your daughter is an adult who made adult decisions. She can handle adult consequences. If you were any kind of man, if I were any kind of man, what? I'd ignore it? Pretend everything's fine? Keep making her dinner and doing her laundry while she sleeps with her boss? You're being cruel. I'm being honest. For the first time in months, I'm being completely honest. And you know what? It feels amazing. Part 3. Dirty Laundry Day. The group chat exploded at 2 a.m. I was awake, working on project documentation, when my phone started buzzing like an angry hornet. Maya had created a new group. Truth Time. Everyone from dinner was in it, except Serena and Derek. Maya, I can't sleep. I keep thinking about those messages. She called my house tacky. She said I was desperate for attention. We've been friends for 12 years. Chloe. She said I was clingy, that I only had friends out of pity. I've been there for her through everything. Priya. She called me a social climber, said I was useful for now. I got her 3 clients last year. Maya. Alex. Are there more messages? I hesitated. Then I thought about Serena's face at dinner, about Derek's threats, about being told I wasn't a priority. Alex. Yes. Many more. Want me to share? Maya. Yes. I uploaded screenshots. Not the affair stuff, that was between Serena and me, but the friend stuff, the gossip, the cruel observations, the casual cruelty of someone who thought she'd never be caught. The chat went silent for 10 minutes. Then, Maya. I'm done. I'm completely done with her. Chloe. Same. This is unforgivable. Priya. I'm blocking her number. I can't even look at her. Maya. Alex, I'm sorry. We should have seen this. We should have known she was treating you the same way. Alex, you didn't know because she's good at pretending. But now you do. Maya, what are you going to do? Alex, I'm going to keep being honest about everything. On Monday morning, I arrived at work to find Derek waiting by my car. He looked like he hadn't slept. Rumpled suit, red-rimmed eyes, the kind of desperate energy that comes from witnessing your life unravel. We need to talk, he said. No, we don't. You're ruining my life. I'm not doing anything. You did this yourself. He grabbed my arm. Big mistake. I'd spent 6 months doing Brazilian jiu-jitsu with Ray, partly for exercise and partly because I'd needed something that was mine. I broke his grip easily, stepped back, and smiled. Don't touch me, Derek. You think you're so smart. You think you've won. I think I've told the truth. If that ruins your life, maybe you should have built it on something more stable. Serena loves me. Serena loves herself. You're just convenient. His face went red. You're nothing, a code monkey, a nobody. Serena settled for you and now she's found someone better. Better? You drive a fancy car and wear expensive suits. That's not better. That's just expensive. I could destroy you. Try it. I've got documentation of everything. Messages, photos, timestamps, credit card receipts. I've got a lawyer who's very interested in your threats, and I've got nothing to lose anymore, which makes me dangerous. Derek's hand curled into a fist. For a moment, I thought he might actually swing. Then he saw the security camera pointed at us and thought better of it. This isn't over, he said. Yes, it is. You just don't know it yet. He walked away. I went inside, got coffee, and started my day. At 10 a.m., Janet stopped by my desk. I heard there's some drama with you and Derek Yates. My stomach dropped. It's personal. I know, and normally I wouldn't care. But Derek's company is a client, a big client. I need to know this won't affect our relationship with them. It won't. You sure? Derek's the one with something to lose, not me. Janet studied me for a moment. You've changed lately, more confident, more present. I stopped letting other people define my priorities. She smiled. Good, keep that energy. We need it. That afternoon, I did something I'd been planning for weeks. I created an anonymous social media account, untraceable, carefully constructed, completely clean. Then I started posting. Not about the affair. That was too obvious, too easy to dismiss as revenge. Instead, I posted about workplace ethics, about bosses who abuse their power, about the importance of professional boundaries. I used hypothetical examples that were obviously not hypothetical. I shared anonymous stories from concerned employees about executives who dated subordinates, who used company resources for personal affairs, who created hostile work environments through favoritism. Within hours, the posts were being shared. By evening, they'd gone viral in our professional community. By midnight, Derek's company's HR department had opened an investigation. I didn't sign my name. I didn't have to. The truth has a way of finding its own path. Wednesday, Serena's suspension became official. She came home at 3 p.m., walked past me without speaking, and locked herself in our bedroom. I heard crying, then phone calls, then more crying. I made dinner. Pasta again, because I liked pasta and I was done cooking for anyone but myself. I ate alone, watching the sunset through our kitchen window, feeling nothing but a strange, peaceful emptiness. Around 8 p.m., Serena emerged. She looked terrible. No makeup, swollen eyes, hair unwashed. She sat across from me at the kitchen table. They suspended me. 2 weeks unpaid, pending investigation. I heard, "You did this." "No, you did this. I just stopped covering for you." What does that mean? It means I stopped making excuses, stopped explaining away your absences, stopped pretending everything was fine. I stopped being complicit in your choices. I could lose my job. Yes, you could. And you don't care? I thought about that. Did I care? Once I would have. Once, her problems would have been my problems. Her pain would have been my pain. But that was before. Before, not a priority. Before Derek. Before I realized I'd been playing a game where only I was following the rules. I care that you're hurting, I said finally, but I don't care enough to fix it. That's your job now. I hate you. That's fair. She left. I heard her car start, heard her drive away. I didn't know where she went, and I didn't ask. Thursday morning, Ray cornered me in the break room. "Dude, Derek's BMW got keyed last night. Someone wrote cheater on the hood in permanent marker. Please tell me that wasn't you." It wasn't me? Really? Really, I was home all night, working. Because if it was you, that would be illegal, stupid, exactly the kind of thing that would give Derek ammunition for a lawsuit? Yeah, then it definitely wasn't me. But I'm not surprised it happened. Derek's made a lot of enemies lately. Ray grinned. You're a terrible liar. I'm not lying. I didn't touch his car. But you know who did. I shrugged. I might have mentioned to certain people where Derek parks, and I might have mentioned that security cameras in that lot have been broken for 3 weeks. But that's just conversation. Can't control what people do with information. You beautiful, devious bastard. Friday afternoon, Derek showed up at my office. Security escorted him. He looked worse than Monday, unshaven, wild-eyed, the kind of desperate that comes from watching your carefully constructed life collapse. You, he said, pointing at me. You did this. The car, the investigation, all of it. I've been at work all week. Check the logs. You're behind it. I know you are. Derek, I'm a software developer. I write code. I don't vandalize cars. Liar. Prove it. He lunged. Security grabbed him. He struggled, shouting about lawsuits and revenge, and how he'd destroy me. I sat calmly at my desk, watching him being dragged away, feeling nothing but mild satisfaction. Janet appeared in my doorway after Derek was gone. That was interesting. That was Derek being Derek. His company just terminated their contract with us, effective immediately. They cited irreconcilable differences. My stomach dropped. I'm sorry, I didn't mean, don't be. They were difficult clients, high maintenance, low profit. We're better off without them. Besides, I've already got 3 companies interested in the freed up capacity. Better companies, more professional. Really? Really. Sometimes trash takes itself out. You just have to let it. Part 4. The conflagration. The private investigator's office was exactly what I expected. Cramped, cluttered, and smelling faintly of old coffee. Linda Morrison looked like someone's aunt. Gray hair, comfortable shoes, reading glasses on a chain. But Ray had sworn she was the best, and Ray was rarely wrong about these things. So, Linda said, reviewing my file. You want surveillance on your wife and her boyfriend. Standard stuff. What's the goal? Information. I want to know what they're planning. Planning? They're not done. Derek's lost a major contract. Serena's suspended. They're desperate, which makes them dangerous. I need to know what comes next. Linda nodded. Smart. Desperate people make mistakes. You want photos, video? Everything. But nothing illegal. I'm not trying to blackmail anyone. I just want to know what's coming. Understood. My rate is, whatever it is, it's fine. I got a raise. She smiled. I like you. You're practical. Give me 2 weeks. Linda called me in 10 days. You need to see this. In person. Her office felt smaller with 3 of us. Me, Linda, and Ray, who I'd brought for moral support. Linda pulled up video on her laptop. Your wife and Derek have been meeting regularly, usually at his place. But 2 days ago, they met with a lawyer. I couldn't hear everything, but I got enough. The video showed Serena and Derek entering a law office downtown. Linda had somehow gotten audio from the lobby, distant but clear enough. Derek's voice needs to look like emotional abuse. That's the key. If we can prove Alex was controlling, abusive, we can flip the narrative. Serena's voice. He's not violent. How do we prove abuse? Lawyer's voice. Emotional abuse is harder to prove but easier to claim. We'll need documentation, witnesses, a pattern of behavior. Derek. I can provide witnesses, people at work who've seen him be cold, dismissive. Serena. And I can talk about how he isolated me, made me feel worthless. The lawyer. Good. With the right presentation, we can position Alex as the villain. Make it look like the affair was your escape from an abusive situation. Judges are sympathetic to that narrative. The video ended. I sat in silence, processing. They're planning to frame you, Ray said. Holy shit. It's smart, I said quietly. Reframe the whole thing. Make me the bad guy. Suddenly the affair is understandable. Suddenly I'm the one who deserves to lose everything. Linda nodded. It's not uncommon. Cheating spouses often try to retroactively justify their behavior by painting their partners as abusive. The problem is, it sometimes works. What do I do? You have this video. That's a start. But you need more. You need to document everything. Every interaction, every conversation. You need witnesses of your own who can testify to your character. And then? Then you go public before they do. You control the narrative. The tech industry networking event was held at the Riverside Convention Center. Hundreds of professionals, open bar, the kind of forced socializing that usually made me want to fake a medical emergency. But tonight, I had a purpose. I'd spent the week preparing. I'd contacted old colleagues, friends from college, former managers. I'd collected character references, performance reviews, anything that painted a picture of who I actually was. And I'd prepared a presentation. Derek was there. Of course he was. Networking was his natural habitat, the kind of place where surface charm mattered more than substance. He was holding court near the bar, telling some story that involved hand gestures and forced laughter. Serena was there too, standing slightly apart from Derek, trying to look professional and failing. She saw me, and her face went pale. I walked up to the event organizer, showed her my credentials, and asked if I could give a brief presentation during the open mic session. She checked her schedule and nodded. 5 minutes. Keep it relevant to professional development. It will be. At 8 p.m., I took the small stage. The crowd quieted, not because I was important, but because people are conditioned to pay attention when someone's on a stage with a microphone. Hi, I'm Alex Forrester. I'm a lead architect at North Point Tech. I want to talk about professional ethics. I clicked to my first slide, a quote about integrity. We all face ethical challenges in our careers. Sometimes they're obvious, fraud, theft, harassment. But sometimes they're subtle. Sometimes they're about the small choices we make when we think nobody's watching. Next slide. Statistics about workplace relationships and power dynamics. For example, relationships between supervisors and subordinates. They create conflicts of interest. They compromise judgment. They create hostile work environments for everyone else. I saw Derek shift uncomfortably. Serena was staring at the floor. I know someone who's been in this situation. A supervisor who started a relationship with a subordinate. He gave her preferential treatment, better assignments, higher performance reviews, and when their relationship became public, he tried to cover it up. Next slide, a screenshot of Derek's company's ethics policy, which explicitly forbade supervisor-subordinate relationships. This is from his company's handbook: clear policy, clear consequences, but policies only matter if they're enforced. Next slide, anonymous survey results I'd collected from Derek's former employees, talking about favoritism and hostile work environment. These are real experiences from real people. People who felt they couldn't speak up because the person creating the problem was their boss's favorite. Derek was moving toward the stage. Security stepped in his way. But here's the interesting part, I continued. When this relationship became public, instead of accepting responsibility, this person tried to reframe the narrative, tried to paint himself as the victim, tried to claim that anyone who called out his behavior was the real problem. Final slide, the video still from Linda's surveillance, showing Derek and Serena entering the lawyer's office. This is a photo from 3 days ago. These two people meeting with a lawyer to discuss how to frame someone else as abusive, how to manipulate the narrative, how to avoid consequences for their own choices. The room erupted. People were talking, pointing, recording on their phones. Derek was shouting something, but his voice was lost in the noise. "I'm sharing this not for revenge," I said, "but as a warning. In our professional lives, integrity matters, truth matters, and when people try to manipulate the truth to avoid consequences, we all have a responsibility to speak up." I left the stage. The event organizer looked stunned. Security was escorting Derek out. Serena had disappeared. My phone started buzzing immediately. Messages from colleagues, from Janet, from people I hadn't talked to in years. The video of my presentation was already online, already spreading. Ray found me near the exit. "That was nuclear," he said. "You just ended them both." I told the truth. "You destroyed them." "They destroyed themselves. I just documented it." The fallout was immediate and comprehensive. By morning, Derek's company had fired him, not for the affair, but for violating ethics policies and attempting to manipulate legal proceedings. Serena's suspension became termination. Her professional reputation, carefully built over 15 years, collapsed overnight. The divorce papers were filed by my lawyer Monday morning. I wasn't asking for much, just a clean, split, equitable division of assets and my freedom. But I documented everything, and my lawyer was confident we'd get favorable terms. Serena called me Tuesday evening. "I want to talk." "Talk to my lawyer." "Please, Alex. Just talk to me, person to person." Against my better judgment, I agreed to meet her at a coffee shop downtown. Neutral ground. Public place. She looked terrible. Not just tired, but broken. The kind of broken that comes from watching everything you've built turn to ash. "I'm sorry," she said. "Okay. That's it? Just okay? What do you want me to say? I forgive you?" "I don't. You made choices. Now you're living with them." "I made a mistake." "You made 100 mistakes for 6 months. That's not a mistake. That's a pattern." Derek said, "I don't care what Derek said. Derek's a liar who used you and threw you away when you became inconvenient. Just like you used me." Her eyes filled with tears. "I loved you. I still love you." "No. You loved what I did for you. You loved having someone to come home to, someone to handle the boring parts of life while you chased excitement. But you didn't love me. If you had, you wouldn't have needed Derek." "Can we fix this?" "No. Please. Serena, it's over. Accept it. Move on. Find someone else to not prioritize." I left her sitting there crying into cold coffee, and I felt nothing but relief. Part 5. The final act. The storm rolled in Thursday evening. one of those massive spring thunderstorms that turn the sky green and make the air taste like metal. I was home alone, packing Serena's things into boxes, when I heard glass break downstairs. I grabbed my phone, pulled up the security app I'd installed after Derek's parking lot visit, and watched the cameras. 2 figures in the foyer, Derek and Serena, soaking wet, looking around like burglars. I called 911, kept them on the line, and activated the security system. Lights blazed. An alarm screamed. The front door locked automatically. I heard shouting downstairs. I stayed upstairs, phone in hand, watching through the cameras. Derek was pounding on the door. "Let us out!" I used the intercom system. "Police are on the way. You're trespassing." Serena's voice shrill with panic. "Alex, please. We just want to talk. You broke into my house. That's not talking. That's breaking and entering." "We need to fix this." "There's nothing to fix. You made your choices." Derek tried the windows. They were locked, reinforced. He tried the back door. Also locked. They were trapped in the foyer, soaking wet, alarm screaming, lights blazing. "You can't do this!" Derek shouted. "I'm not doing anything. You broke in. I called the police. That's called consequences." Through the camera, I watched them panic. Derek tried to break another window. Serena was crying, makeup running down her face like war paint. The storm raged outside, lightning, thunder, rain hammering the roof. Then I heard sirens. The police arrived in minutes, 2 cars, 4 officers. I met them at the door, showed them my security footage, explained the situation calmly and clearly. They broke the window to get in. I was upstairs. I called immediately. I have everything on video. The officers arrested Derek and Serena, breaking and entering, trespassing, destruction of property. They read them their rights in my foyer while rain poured in through the broken window. But I wasn't done. I'd set up a live stream, nothing fancy, just my phone pointed at the foyer from upstairs, broadcasting to a private link I'd shared with specific people: Maya, Chloe, Priya, Ray, Janet, a dozen others who'd been following this saga. As the police led Derek and Serena out in handcuffs, I spoke into the camera. "This is what desperation looks like. 2 people who made bad choices, who tried to avoid consequences, who thought they could manipulate and threaten their way out of responsibility. They couldn't accept that actions have consequences. They couldn't accept that you can't cheat and lie and expect everyone else to just move on." Derek was shouting something at the police. Serena was crying. Neighbors were gathering on their porches, phones out, recording. "I didn't want this," I continued. "I wanted a marriage. I wanted partnership. I wanted someone who considered me a priority. Instead, I got lies and betrayal and a plot to frame me as abusive so they could justify their affair. So I did the only thing I could do. I told the truth. All of it. Completely. And the truth destroyed them more effectively than I ever could have." The police cars pulled away, lights flashing, criminals in the back seat. The storm was starting to clear, clouds breaking, moon showing through. If you're watching this, learn something. Be honest. Be decent. Keep your commitments. And if you can't, at least have the courage to end things cleanly instead of trying to destroy someone else to cover your own failures. I ended the stream. Within minutes, the video was being shared. By morning, it would be everywhere. Not just in our professional circles, but beyond. Derek and Serena wouldn't just lose their jobs, they'd lose everything. Friday morning, I woke to silence. No alarm, no Serena, no drama, just silence and sunlight and the sound of birds outside my window. My phone had hundreds of notifications, messages of support, job offers, interview requests. Apparently, my presentation and subsequent live stream had made me something of a folk hero in certain circles, the wronged husband who fought back with truth instead of violence. Janet called at 9. "You're trending on LinkedIn. Did you know that?" "I heard. 3 companies have reached out asking if you're available for consulting work, high-profile stuff, big money. I'm interested." "Good. Also, I'm promoting you. VP of Engineering. Effective immediately. You've earned it. Thank you. Thank you. You've reminded everyone here what integrity looks like. That's valuable. The divorce was finalized in record time. Serena didn't contest anything. She couldn't. Not with everything documented. Not with her criminal charges pending. I got the house, the savings, my freedom. Derek's wife divorced him too. His company blacklisted him in the industry. Last I heard, he was working retail somewhere in another state, trying to rebuild a life from ashes. Serena moved back in with her mother. Her PR career was over. Her friends had abandoned her. She'd posted a few apology videos online, trying to salvage something, but they'd only made things worse. I should have felt guilty. I should have felt something, pity, regret, anything. But I didn't. They'd made choices. I'd simply made sure those choices had consequences. 6 months later, I stood in my backyard, not ours, watching the sunset. The house was quiet, clean, mine. I'd redecorated, gotten rid of everything that reminded me of Serena, built something new. Ray came over for beers. We sat on the deck, not talking much, just enjoying the evening. You ever regret it? Ray asked eventually. Which part? All of it. Going nuclear, the public exposure, destroying them. I thought about that. Did I regret it? No, I said finally. They tried to destroy me first. They planned it, plotted it, tried to frame me as abusive so they could justify their affair and take everything I'd built. I just defended myself, effectively. You did more than defend yourself. You annihilated them. They annihilated themselves. I just made sure everyone could see it. Ray raised his beer. To consequences. To consequences. We drank, watching the sun set over my property, over my life, over the future I'd built from the wreckage of my marriage. Somewhere out there, Serena and Derek were living with their choices. They'd tried to make me the villain of their story. Instead, I'd made them the villains of mine. And I'd won. Not because I was better than them, not because I was morally superior, but because I'd told the truth, consistently and completely, and let that truth do the work. The storm had passed, the damage was repaired, and I was standing in the wreckage of their lives, completely free. Sometimes the best revenge isn't violence or cruelty. Sometimes it's just truth, delivered at the right moment, to the right people, with perfect timing. They'd told me I wasn't their priority. I'd made sure everyone knew what their priorities actually were. And in the end, those priorities had destroyed them more completely than I ever could have.